Tonight, a dire picture of the cost of living, parents stressed and struggling to find baby formula. Pleas of desperation.
It is one of the top items that families seek at the food bank.
The extreme parents are going to in order to feed their children as prices soar. And interprovincial roadblocks.
Trying to read the BC regulatory document. They're usually about 300 to 500 pages, really light reading. I gave up very quickly on that one.
What some alcohol producers say is stopping them from expanding into new markets. Plus, the anniversary tour with an added audience.
There's no other audience I'd rather be playing for than this audience right here.
How this member of Blue Rodeo is making music accessible to those unlikely to attend a concert.
CTV National News with Heather Butts.
Good evening. The desperation appears to be growing worse for parents in this country trying to find baby formula. Out of reach for so many because of the soaring cost and short supply. That's driving parents to seek help from strangers. CTV's Kamal Karamali on why so many are left foraging simply to feed their infant.
Here at this Toronto food bank, hundreds of items have been donated, except for one thing. So what's missing here?
Baby formula. We never ever get formula donated. It is one of the top items that families seek at the food bank.
Parents fed up with not being able to feed formula to their infants, now heading to social media to buy and sell baby formula. Facebook page after Facebook page of parents searching for formula or willing to sell it.
It's very often to the point that it's almost every other day.
Tonmoy Chakraborty found himself with a brand his newborn didn't like, so he posted it for sale on a local Facebook group.
The response was overwhelming. I got like 15 to 20 response in a matter of an hour that, hey, I am in Sudbury. I'm willing to drive there.
900 grams of baby formula was just shy of $30 during the pandemic, but since then it's steadily been climbing in price, now nearly doubling to more than $50 for the same amount.
Baby formula is the one product that has increased the most in Canada at 68%.
Food safety issues at U.S. plants that led to their shutdown have also led to a lack of availability and increased prices. Health Canada says it's working closely with manufacturers to maintain a stable supply of infant formulas, with more than 70 products currently eligible for temporary importation. Right now, there's only one formula manufacturer in Canada which began production last year.
The bottom line is that we're still heavily relying on imports, and so we're quite vulnerable.
It's actually completely empty. That's our shelf right there.
That might be too late for parents who have the need to nourish their infants now.
They come in actually quite often looking for baby formula.
With hopes more production is made in Canada soon. Kamal Karamali, CTV News, Toronto.
Adding to the worries of parents, a recall of one brand of baby formula. The Canadian Food Inspection Agency is raising a red flag about cases of botulism in the U.S. tied to canisters of the ByHeart Whole Nutrition infant formula. ByHeart recalled its products earlier this week after cases of infant botulism spread across several American states. A rare move from the U.S. president this week, backtracking on duties imposed on dozens of products after voters expressed frustrations with the state of the economy in exit polls earlier this month. It's raising questions about Donald Trump's tariffs and trade negotiations with other nations moving forward. CTV's Jeremy Sharon reports.
A late Friday decision by U.S. President Donald Trump rolling back tariffs on dozens of food products in the face of growing backlash from American consumers over the high cost of groceries.
Oh, on this side, I don't think it's going to have much of an effect at all, like it won't in the United States.
But this trade expert says it could have an impact on the greater trade war and negotiations down the line. Trump's shift in stance on lifting the duties from products like coffee, beef, and many others is about reducing prices for Americans.
If it's true for food, maybe it can be true for aluminum or steel as well. I mean, that's the reasoning here that he's opening the door to. Maybe we are setting the stage for some more rapid deal making.
Still, President Trump insists his tariffs aren't causing inflation.
The single greatest thing we have right now is the use of tariffs.
But some experts say this decision is a result of waning domestic support for his policies and their economic impacts.
Well, clearly what we're seeing here is the president is losing this battle. He's losing the narrative.
But the president stands by his trade policies.
Will you change anything else with tariffs?
I don't think it'll be necessary.
Not what Canada is looking to hear. Trade negotiations between the two countries remain stalled, and Canada's finance minister told a crowd of Canadian business leaders this week he doesn't believe trade agreements are popular right now.
The golden age, I would say, of multilateral agreement at least is probably behind us for the time being.
Canada's largest multilateral trade agreement is the Canada-U.S.-Mexico agreement. It is the reason Prime Minister Mark Carney insists Canada already has the best deal with the U.S. on tariffs. But CUSMA is up for review in 2026. Heather?
Thanks, Jeremy. CTV's Jeremy Sharon in Ottawa. The trade war sparked a promise from Ottawa to remove interprovincial trade barriers, but some businesses say they're still waiting. We'll speak with one brewer later in the show on the red tape facing that industry. To developing news now, one person has died after two planes collided in midair near Ottawa.
After the midair collision, the Piper Seminole was able to land safely at Cornwall Airport. However, one of the wings separated from the Cessna and the aircraft crashed in the woods behind me.
It was the pilot and sole occupant of that Cessna who was found dead at the scene. The collision happened this morning about 100 kilometers southeast of Ottawa. Investigators say the planes, both owned by the same company, were on training flights when the tragedy happened. Witnesses were left shaken.
Well, it's a very tragic accident because that never happens. I mean, so many planes are around here all the time and you never see anything. And then just to know that somebody's going to die and you're watching it, I have a hard time sleeping tonight.
Several witnesses reportedly tried to comb the area and help look for the wreckage in the minutes after the crash. The Transportation Safety Board is still piecing together a timeline of what happened and a possible cause. The Vatican says it has returned several historic Indigenous artifacts to Canada in a big step towards reconciliation. No clear confirmation from the Vatican which of the 60 artifacts are being returned by Pope Leo to the Canadian Conference of Catholic Bishops. The bishops say they will in turn be transferred back to national Indigenous organizations. The artifacts had been sent to the Holy See as part of a 1925 exhibition by Pope Pius XI. A renewed search got underway in Nova Scotia for two young children missing since May. The Ontario-based group Please Bring Me Home organized today's search for 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and her 4-year-old brother Jack. The siblings vanished from their home in Pictou County on May 2nd. The warden of Pictou County hopes changing environmental conditions and the expertise of this search group could change that.
As the weather changes, as the circumstances change, it may allow something to show up, and this group has had some experience, I understand, finding lost people, so they may have some particular ways that they do things.
Police have already conducted multiple searches covering roughly 8.5 square kilometers near the children's home. The RCMP says its investigation remains ongoing. Nova Scotia has endured brutal drought conditions this year, leading to dry wells across the province. With the rainy season now well underway, it's mostly good news, but as CTV's Paul Hollingsworth reports, a lot of rain over a shortened period can lead to other concerns.
Retired Environment Canada meteorologist Gary Lyons says climate change models predicted the recent extreme weather that impacted Nova Scotia.
This scenario this past summer it was quite dramatic, in the sense that not only was there less rain, but we got really good summer temperatures.
The result was a record-setting drought. There were numerous wildfires, wells went dry, and farmers had damaged crops across the province.
It had a definite influence on the decrease in yield of our products, like the wild blueberries. I grow sweet corn as well.
Now a new extreme. Many areas of Nova Scotia received more than 50 millimeters of rain over several days, which could saturate the soil in time for the spring growing season.
I'm happy that we have the rain, and with that, hopefully in the spring, we'll be in a good position to start off.
After experiencing record-setting drought conditions over a period of several months, this area getting a lot of rainfall in a short period of time can cause problems. Lines says the rain in general is a positive development, but there are concerns given the dry soil.
There's public safety. We get a lot of rain all at once. Yes, we get into a flooding scenario potentially.
Heather Prescott is worried about soil erosion and says heavy cold rain causes health concerns for her livestock.
And we have to keep an eye on diseases such as pneumonia and foot rot.
According to Lines, there is one overarching lesson to take away from the hot, dry temperatures that hit Nova Scotia over the summer.
We have to become more prepared for this style of summer, this style of fall, this style of year.
Prescott agrees and is already developing new irrigation and water supply strategies for the future. Paul Hollingsworth, CTV News, Halifax.
Rain and lightning delayed but couldn't stop the championship game of the Northern Super League.
And that's it! History made for the Vancouver Rise, your first ever Northern Super League champions!
The Vancouver Rise and AFC Toronto making history today in the first ever final for Canada's Professional Women's Soccer League. Vancouver took the crown, winning 2-1. And just before kickoff, a major soccer funding announcement from the Liberal government.
We're glad to put money right now where our mouth is, which is around $5.45 million.
This is about creating role models, not just as players, not just the endurance, the dedication, and the skill, but also role models in business, role models to build this country.
The funding will go towards the growth of the Northern Super League and upgrading the facilities used by teams across the country. The stage is set for the 112th Grey Cup kickoff tomorrow in Winnipeg. Conditions look favorable for the final CFL game to be played with the existing rules. And fans are pumped for the matchup between the Montreal Alouettes and the Saskatchewan Roughriders. CTV's Alex Carpa caught up with some of them today.
Here we go, Riders, here we go! Go, let's go!
It's Grey Cup weekend in Winnipeg.
Go Riders!
Fans representing every team in the CFL have flocked to the Manitoba capital to celebrate the Canadian sports tradition.
This is an awesome party. It's a bucket list thing for us.
It's a community, and that's what makes it good to be here.
Doesn't matter what team you're on, everyone's having a good time out here in Winnipeg.
We've attended a lot of Grey Cups, and this is one of the best ones yet.
Some days you gotta dance.
When the big game rolls into town, it brings with it a series of concerts, parties, and other fun events. You can feel the excitement and the buzz here at Grey Cup festivities. People from all across the country are enjoying the activities. And the best part, you can feel like you're one of the players playing in the Grey Cup. Well, as you can see, I'm not a football player, but I'm still having a heck of a time. So too are fans of all ages. But it's not just fans enjoying the festivities, so too are local businesses who are seeing an influx of traffic.
It is the busiest day we've probably had in 6 years yesterday, so it's been crazy. It's been busy, a lineup all day long.
The 112th Grey Cup features a matchup between the Montreal Alouettes and the Saskatchewan Roughriders, with this year's Grey Cup being the last game with the rules as we know it.
What if a Grey Cup was won on a missed field goal? Tomorrow is the last time that can happen.
As for who fans will be cheering for, well, it depends who you ask.
Not Saskatchewan.
I gotta cheer for Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
Anybody but Saskatchewan.
But no matter who you cheer for, everyone I spoke to says the Grey Cup brings out the best in every Canadian football fan. Alex Carpa, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Coming up after the break.
We were on the shelf in Alberta in 2 weeks, and in Manitoba it took 3 years.
The regulatory red tape that small alcohol producers say is stopping them from expanding. Plus, the success story filled with grit and glamour that took these artists to the world stage. Despite promises by the federal government to help ease provincial trade restrictions, some Canadian alcohol producers say they're still jumping hurdles to sell their products across the country. As Alison Bamford explains, the red tape can be a strong deterrent for expansion.
Inside Rebellion Brewing, Mark Heisey is checking on his latest batches of beer, Regina-based products that are sold in Saskatchewan, Alberta, and Manitoba.
We were on the shelf in Alberta in 2 weeks, and in Manitoba it took 3 years.
It's even harder to crack into other markets.
Trying to read the BC regulatory document, they're usually about 300 to 500 pages, really light reading. I gave up very quickly on that one, and same with Ontario as well.
Each province and territory regulates alcohol differently, making interprovincial trade hard to navigate. Variations in labeling standards, testing requirements, and product registration protocols. A patchwork of red tape that's not easy to cut through, says the Canadian Federation of Independent Business.
It takes a lot of time, but it's also very costly.
The CFIB is out with a new report pushing for a more consistent framework across provinces that won't deter company expansion. Earlier this year, Ottawa and the provinces agreed to a list of commitments that would make alcohol trade easier, and the provinces agreed to implement direct-to-consumer sales by next spring, meaning Canadians would be able to order alcohol from anywhere in the country and have it shipped to their door.
That doesn't go far enough, and May 2026 is not fast enough. It doesn't help get Canadian products on shelves.
Even in an open market, Heisey says shipping costs would still be a barrier for the beer industry.
As much as I'm saying it's not going to necessarily be a huge windfall for most breweries, we're in favor of all that, of removing those interprovincial barriers, because I think it just makes sense.
And admittedly, he'd love to see his Saskatchewan products on Toronto store shelves. Alison Bamford, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Still ahead, a heartfelt performance. How this member of Blue Rodeo is bringing the joys of music to a unique audience along his cross-country tour. An historic day in Calgary where hundreds turned out to watch as the Palestinian flag was raised above City Hall.
I'm very excited to be here for our historic first flag raising that many communities around Calgary have been enjoying for like a decade now.
The flag raising was only possible after Ottawa recognized Palestinian statehood in September, but this could be the last time the flag of any nation is raised above Calgary City Hall. The mayor plans to introduce a motion next week to change the rules, saying national flags, particularly during times of conflict, can create division instead of unity. Canadian Music Hall of Famers Blue Rodeo took to the stage in southwestern Ontario tonight, but long before the lights came on, a member of the band played his own gig, a free performance to bring the healing joys of music to an audience who likely can't afford a concert ticket. CTV's Brent Lale explains.
There's no other audience I'd rather be playing for than this audience right here.
Traveling across Canada with his band Blue Rodeo, Mike Boguski is taking time in each city to make someone's day.
He's in a stratosphere that's a little bit different than ours, financially and notoriety, but yet he's coming to a place where people are in need and what have you, just to, yes, serve as a pick-me-up.
The cost of love and understanding. Prior to the show at Canada Life Place, the keyboardist stopped by the London coffee house drop-in space to play a free concert.
If I can just bring an hour of music to people who may not be able to come to tonight's show, that's pretty awesome because, recognizing people as human beings with faces is what it's all about. Everyone loves music, not everybody can afford a ticket.
The London Coffee House has a long history of serving a cup of coffee or just giving support to both men and women who are either homeless or at risk of homelessness.
Creating accessibility to the arts, to things that bring that sense of joy and hope and really inspire people through creativity is wonderful. I mean, we look at like the whole spectrum of wellness, right? And the basic needs, housing, that's one piece, the survival. And then when we can add things like this that really just bring that sense of meaning and joy and purpose and connection through community is super exciting.
The one that never heals. On this tour, Mike began playing for local food banks at libraries. But when in British Columbia, he discovered a community shelter and started playing for the unhoused.
If I can find somebody who was willing to believe me that I actually am Mike Boguski from Blue Rodeo who wants to play your community shelter, I'll be playing. But, you know, if you're under 40, just Google Blue Rodeo. We're a popular band, and, you know, I want to play your shelter.
Brent Lale, CTV News.
Still ahead, red carpet glam. How these artists are adding Canadian representation to the world stage. We leave you tonight with a story that for some redefines success. And two people who call this country home are doing just that, taking the fashion and beauty world by storm, from refugee camps to the global stage. Here's CTV's Kathy Lee with their journey of resilience.
Each shade of lipstick on this shelf was created by Hung Van Gogh. Their names tell a chapter of his story, and one captures the moment his life changed forever.
88, that's when we left Vietnam. My family and I, we escaped Vietnam to refugee camp, and then we came here after.
Calgary became home, a place where ambition met opportunity.
When I was young, you know, I just want to work in beauty.
Those dreams and much more coming true. Van Gogh is the go-to makeup artist for Hollywood stars, and now his name etched on the very tools that led to his success.
Having my own brand that sells Sephora and even carry in my own hometown is pretty surreal.
The beauty guru shares parallel roots with another Calgarian. Model Awor Odiang and her family were refugees from South Sudan.
We came with nothing, to be honest.
From humble beginnings to gracing the cover of international magazines, including a full feature in American Vogue, celebrating alongside her family against the backdrop of the Canadian Rockies.
It was really cool to see the mix of my family and work coming together.
Their success stories intertwined through Mode Models International, the agency that gave them their start. The founder, Kelly Strite, celebrating Canadian representation on the world stage.
In my opinion, it's very rare. If I think of the big lines that are in Sephora or the models that are in Vogue, I don't think of Canadians very often.
Their achievements not taken for granted.
The key of my success is resilient.
And their passions have deeper meaning.
I definitely want to be somebody that, you know, people can look up to in my community.
Both of them beacons for a new generation, showing Canadian dreams come in every color, and that beauty isn't just what you see, it's what you overcome. Kathy Lee, CTV News, Calgary.
That is our newscast for this Saturday night. I'm Heather Butts. For all of us at CTV National News, thank you for watching. Good night, and I'll see you again tomorrow.